The heaven and earth need to meet. They meet at the heart. That's the connection. The heavenly sphere, this vault, and the earthly sphere, this magma, they meet here and interact. And the heart is that what balances it. And that is the beauty of it. The beauty of that. So, yes, it has been said that this path is an invitation to greater embodiment. Greater embodiment. It's like we're bringing consciousness into the magma of earth, into whatever we do, into the clay, into everything, into the interaction.
I've always felt like I was on a spiritual journey, a spiritual path for many, many years. And this thing of, this is about, this lifetime is about evolving spiritually and consciousness and all of this. But since meditating with you and my meditations now and the process that seems to be happening, it feels more and more like a physical process and a physiological process. And it's kind of funny that it was really my conversation with my 21-year-old son, who's thinks all of this stuff is complete nonsense. And I was just trying to explain that, how amazing the experience of meditation is, and that it opens up this whole other realm of experience and everything. And he said, whatever I'm experiencing, it's all because there's certain neurons in the brain that are connecting with, whatever's going on, it's because of something going on in the brain, because that's the only way, we experience anything. Anyway, it did make me think, like, there's a little bit of truth to that. That regardless of what is actually happening, my experience of it is all in this body. Like, the experience that I have in meditation, which is just a whole variety of things, an amazing thing, and you feel, I've always associated that with something on an other level than physical. And yet it really does, it's my experience through my body. And so it just feels a little more now like I'm in a physiological transformation process that is enabling me to have perceptions of things that are always here and just what is, and now I'm just able to perceive it in a different way because my body is capable of doing that. And I know I'm only at the beginning, but I don't know, that feels different than what I thought I was doing. And yet it also connects to another place where I'm sort of always a little unsure about how it works because there's this physical process or a Kundalini awakening process, right? And yet there are lots of people that go through their whole process, and yet they're not in the same place as other people that are, those that we consider fully awakened or enlightened beings, or just the great masters, or, however we're going to consider them. So there is some sort of difference yet between that. I don't really, I'm getting less clear about what is really the difference? And someone suggested Ken Wilber's statement, there's growing up is different than waking up, right? And so there's that in the mix also. So I'm not sure where that leaves me, but I don't know, is that enough to comment on? Do you want me to try and pull a question out of that?
Human life is envied by celestial beings. That's also another leitmotif of Vedic lore. Human life, human body is envied by celestial beings. In a way, in itself, as a leitmotif of cosmic drama. A cosmic drama unfolds from there. And everywhere you could find these traces of that in many, many ancient civilizations. You can find the echoes of that, certainly in ancient Greek, in ancient Greece, in ancient Greek mythology, Mediterranean mythology, right? That interaction, right? Or interference of the Olympians, right? That human life, something, and you have all the ambrosia there up in the Olympus. But something that humans experience, maybe in Greece it's kind of given that. In Vedic culture it's a very, very refined, straight from the Rig Vedas, straight from the suktas, all the mandalas. That hymn to Shakti, composed over millennia, potentially, possibly. When I was younger and read spiritual literature, sometimes in my late 20s, my kind of some ideas on evolution was that at some point, when one evolves, one will become into this refined being, obviously beyond the body. It's like, a refined being, some kind of whatever that substance, right? Pulsating, I don't know. But the more I reflected on it, then it kind of started to feel boring. There's something magical about this mortal flesh that is to die. Go back to the elements, wrinkles, even aches and pains. Well, taking care of oneself, don't just take this at a face value. Otherwise, Dr. Suhas will tell me off on the side. No, don't get aches and pains if you can avoid them. There is something to that. There is this something truly, there's this distraction, this something that Olympians did not have. ethereal beings, celestials do not have. This where infinity is tasted through the finite form. Something precious about it. Something that is tactile, perishable, and therefore so dear because it is so fragile. You know? Look at the hand in the sun. You can see the veins, the flesh. You cut its blood. Something tremendously alive here. I was never truly interested in complete transcendentalism. Always felt there's something overdoing. Maharishi simply put it, just, too much transcendence is not good, or too much engrossed in this, not good. You need to find a balance. There needs to be balance. The heaven and earth need to meet. They meet at the heart. That's the connection. The heavenly sphere, this vault, and the earthly sphere, this magma, they meet here and interact. And the heart is that what balances it. And that is the beauty of it. The beauty of that. So, yes, it has been said that this path is an invitation to greater embodiment. Greater embodiment. It's like we're bringing consciousness into the magma of earth, into whatever we do, into the clay, into everything, into the interaction. We're not gone into ether, so this is also certainly challenging some of the classically held aspirations in Indian culture, where everything is dominated by the concept of akasha, ether, transcend. But there are other teachings, so that what Kashmir Shaivism was as a reflection of this very, very deeply accessed insights, was a response to what it was already experienced, became the answer. You see? There is this physicalism. There's a physicality to it, to this monism. It has this down to earth, literally down to earth. Because through the entire manifestation, Shiva remains in every tattva. Not at an iota, of that, what Shiva represents, is lost to the final tattva of the Prithvi, Bhumi, earth. So this is true non-duality. A lot of non-dual talks out there is actually dualistic and psychological drill or a loop. Yes, of course, there are cultural repercussions. Why Advaita Vedanta of Adi Shankara? Yes, India had to be reshaped because the order of sannyasin, it needs to be reinstalled. Youth had to believe what they're giving up here, and for what. We talked about that. Scholars talk about that. There's a great lofty aspiration. So Adi Shankar left no stone unturned. But then it complemented immediately within the century or two with an alternative perspective here. And Abhinavagupta brought that. So that's what you're experiencing, that, right? That it is somatic, right? That embodiment, It's not about to transcend and hover above and look at this sinful, petty earth. Adios, dear earthlings. I'm not gonna see you anymore. I have transcended. And I'm not even a bodhisattva. I did not follow that path. So I'm not going to incarnate 1,000 times to uplift all of you. Wishing you the best. So, see? Instead, it's a neocentrism. See? This is the power of Bhairavi. So of course, no wonder why so much at stake for this precious blue pearl planet. The resource, the main resource of the planet is not what we call resources. No. That's the highest yoga that speaks to that. That's what everyone is after. Everyone wants to have a drop or two. Everyone wants to have that trickling so as to quench the thirst, the cosmic, universal thirst. It doesn't exist in a heavenly realm. See? This is where physics and metaphysics meet and intermingle. So just as the birth of life here, which is only for duration, there is also a birth of eternity. And that eternity can be tasted whilst in the body.